This is how betrayal bonds keep you chained to the narcissist forever. Have you ever found yourself unable to break free from a toxic relationship despite knowing that it's unhealthy for you? Are you constantly making excuses for your partner's bad behavior? If so, you might be caught in a betrayal bond with a narcissist. In this video, we'll explore how these bonds work and what you can do to break free and heal. As a start, I believe that our relationships define us. They shape our perspectives, influence our decisions, and impact our well-being. But when these relationships turn toxic, they can create lasting scars that affect us for years to come. One particularly insidious form of a toxic relationship is the betrayal bond, a type of brainwashing that traps victims in a cycle of abuse and dependence. Betrayal bonds occur when we've invested time, energy, and emotions into a relationship only to have our trust broken repeatedly. This could be a romantic relationship, a friendship, or even a family dynamic. Narcissists are particularly skilled at exploiting betrayal bonds because they understand how to manipulate and control their victims. One way they do this is by creating a false sense of intimacy and connection. Narcissists can be incredibly charming and seductive, drawing you in with their charisma and appeal. Once they have you under their spell, they begin to chip away at your self-esteem, constantly criticizing and belittling you. But just when you're about to give up on the relationship, they'll switch gears and shower you with affection, keeping you hooked on the hope that things will get better. This push-pull dynamic is a hallmark of betrayal bonds. Victims feel like they're on an emotional roller coaster, unable to break free from the narcissist's hold. They may even start to blame themselves for the abuse, thinking that they're not doing enough to please their partner, or that they somehow deserve the mistreatment. But the truth is that betrayal bonds are not a reflection of your worth or value. They're a product of the narcissist's manipulation and your own vulnerabilities. To break free from these bonds, you need to start by acknowledging the betrayal and the harm it's causing you. This can be incredibly difficult, especially if you've been in the relationship for a long time. But without this crucial step, you'll never be able to move on and heal. Once you've recognized the betrayal, it's time to take action. Sadly, many people in toxic relationships develop a tolerance for the abuse. This is especially true if the victim is financially, emotionally, or professionally dependent on the narcissist. Refusing to dwell on a betrayal is a coping mechanism for many people. Unfortunately, though, it does become mentally, physically, and spiritually toxic as time goes. In today's video, let's uncover the indications of betrayal ties and the steps you may take to heal them. What exactly are the ties of betrayal? Narcissists exploited the emotional pain their victims felt after being betrayed as a tool for maintaining power and control. Betrayal trauma is used by narcissists as a tool for emotional manipulation and control. The narcissist is aware of the potency of provoking confrontations, uncovering your deepest fears, and constantly cheating on you. Your feelings are stirred by these occurrences. The trauma will cause you to feel ashamed, guilty, and worthless, and the narcissist knows this. That's the point, really. Nevertheless, there's more to it than that. Narcissists are aware that experiencing the low points of trauma makes you long for the high points again. To keep you coming back for more, they hold hostage their superficial emotions and mellow them out in tiny doses, such as love and thanks. One way of looking at the narcissistic cycle is as a sort of love addiction. At first, using an addictive chemical is pleasurable, which is why people start abusing it. However, as time goes on, they become more tolerant. They eventually get reliant on it. They suffer through more awful days avoiding withdrawal than good days of using. You've reached the addiction reliance stage at this point in the narcissistic cycle. The narcissist may shower you with occasional bursts of affection, but more often than not, they will only shower you with hurt and pain. An illustration of this would be if they promised to cease being unfaithful to you, but later it became out they never actually did. These feelings of love that you're experiencing are not real, and you need to accept that. They're merely a tactical component of betrayal relationships, a way in which these bonds impede recuperation. Similar behaviors are described under the terms Stockholm Syndrome, betrayal bonds, and trauma bonds. Narcissists rely heavily on the formation of trauma ties in order to control your feelings, ideas, and behaviors, exactly like being a part of a cult. During times of crisis, a narcissist craves your undivided attention. They thrive on the fact that you care enough to respond angrily, dispute, and defend yourself so they can continue putting you down. Also, they adore the fact that the ordeal has only served to forge a tighter bond between you two. Surely you wouldn't tolerate this sort of behavior from anyone else. Obviously, if you feel very strongly about them, otherwise you wouldn't still be there. The two of you will take this as proof that your connection is special and unique. They will tell you that nobody else could possibly comprehend the depths and nuances of your relationship. Because of this, you withdraw from your social life, cut off contact with your loved ones, and focus exclusively on the narcissist. The manipulation becomes routine, and you accept this as usual, thinking that it must be the best that can happen. Ties formed in times of crisis, and how they can eventually lead to betrayal. Victims of narcissists often experience social exclusion, identity devaluation, and traumatic situations. The objective is to make the victim feel at ease with the manipulation so they won't question it or decide to quit. When it comes to trauma bonding, narcissists use the same method. That way lies betrayal. The phony honeymoon phase is the first stage. For starters, narcissists require you to believe that they're caring and loving mistakenly. As a result, you should expect to receive a lot of gifts and special treatment. They can convince you that you found your true soulmates. You were emotionally manipulated into staying in the narcissist's trap by what you remember as a fascinating and enjoyable time in the relationship. This also triggers addiction's arousal neural circuit. Early trauma. Insults, backhanded compliments, and attacks on your integrity are all fair game for a narcissist who is testing your limits. They're testing you to see if you will be a reliable source for long-term manipulation based on your responses. After they've been given the all-clear for the initial shock, they'll start pushing themselves farther to see how far they can go. You'll gradually become able to handle more and more severe forms of betrayal and suffering. Gaslighting. If you put up a fight after the initial trauma, the narcissist will try to gaslight you into thinking that you did something wrong. They'll argue that you're misinterpreting them or that they weren't serious about what they said or did. In the mind of a narcissist, the future is all about them. Self-reflection is dangerous to narcissists because it could make you uncomfortable. Essentially, they want you to do their thinking for them. More suffering. The narcissist will increase their manipulation now that they know they can get away with gaslighting you. Marriage, cohabitation, or relocating far from friends and family are all situations in which a person may be particularly vulnerable to a narcissist's power maneuvers. Downplaying and making wild assumptions. Following up on their persistent gaslighting with strong manipulation, narcissists will minimize and deflect the blame for their narcissist back onto you. The narcissist will insist they are the victim and that their actions or words weren't actually that horrible. Reusing the honeymoon. The excitement of the beginning of your relationship has worn off, and you are now plagued with feelings of self-doubt, remorse, and solitude. Love comes to you in spurts, and you're happy about that. The narcissist disperses their generosity piecemeal, usually in the midst of a conflict. These deceptive acts of love and kindness are crucial in perpetuating the traumatic cycle of betrayal relationships. Until you break free or the narcissist finds a new supply, the traumatic experiences, gaslighting and manipulation, and the upkeep of the relationship will repeat themselves endlessly. How do broken relationships feel? The links of betrayal are difficult to recognize when you are deep into the narcissistic maelstrom. The main idea is to indoctrinate you, after all. A trauma bond has formed between you. 1. You try to rationalize or explain away the narcissist's cruel actions to those closest to you. 2. You stop trying to defend yourself against the narcissist and have cut off your support network. 3. You keep hoping the narcissist would finally grow up and stop their toxic patterns of conduct. 4. You will contemplate whether you will have to fight or not. As you try to explain yourself, the narcissist twists your words around. 5. The narcissist is never the victim. You may be falsely accused of manipulation even if you bring up a clear-cut scenario in which they harmed you. The sixth sign is an excessive preoccupation with the narcissist's positive, but ultimately superficial characteristics, such as their innate abilities, wealth, career, and social standing. 7. You start to long for the beginning of the relationship when the fake honeymoon phase is still going strong. 8. You cover up the narcissist's worst acts because you're ashamed of them or afraid of what the narcissist will do to you. Number 9. You've pretty much accepted this as your fate. To paraphrase the narcissist, you believe no one will ever love you the way they do. So, where do I begin healing and untying the knots of betrayal? First, you must realize that narcissists are unchangeable. They may have changed, or at least tried to, by now. However, narcissists aren't interested in bettering themselves. Therefore, you shouldn't expect them to. The next step is to open up to a reliable person about your predicament. The narcissist deliberately cut you off from all of your friends and family. Reach out to reliable friends from the past or look for some new ones to help you out. Don't confide in someone who would dismiss your feelings or tell you that you're overreacting. Don't fight back if you are unable to flee at this time. The narcissist takes great pleasure in engaging in conflict to strengthen the relationships formed during the traumatic experience. Just ignore them or respond with a single word. At the end of the day, the only way out of trauma bonding is to cut off all connections forever. A thorough recovery program can prevent the future trap of betrayal relationships.
So guys, as usual, we will have a little chat before I end today's video. So, are you in a toxic relationship? Are you making excuses for your partner's bad behavior? This could be signs that you are caught in a betrayal bond with a narcissist. As you just learned from this video, betrayal bonds are insidious and keep you in a cycle of abuse and dependence. Narcissists are experts at creating a false sense of intimacy and connection and using it to manipulate and control their victims. They belittle you, criticize you, and then switch gears and shower you with affection. This push and pull dynamic is a hallmark of betrayal bonds. Victims feel like they are on an emotional roller coaster, unable to break free from the narcissist's hold. To break free from these bonds, you need to start to acknowledge the betrayal and the harm it's causing you. You must recognize that the betrayal is not a reflection of your worth or value. It's a product of the narcissist's manipulation and your own vulnerabilities. Refusing to dwell on a betrayal is a coping mechanism for many people. Unfortunately though, it becomes mentally, physically, and spiritually toxic as time goes. Narcissists exploit the emotional pain their victims felt after being betrayed as a tool for maintaining power and control. Betrayal trauma is used by narcissists as a tool for emotional manipulation. The narcissist is aware of the potency of provoking confrontations, uncovering your deepest fears, and constantly cheating on you. Narcissists rely heavily on the formation of trauma ties to control your feelings, ideas, and behaviors. They crave your undivided attention during times of crisis, thrive on the fact that you care enough to respond angrily, dispute, and defend yourself so they can continue putting you down. To break free from betrayal bonds, you need to accept that the feelings of love you are experiencing are not real. They are merely a tactical component of betrayal relationships, a way in which these bonds impede recuperation. You must acknowledge the harm being done and take action to break free from the narcissist's hold. You must also realize that you are not alone and that there are people who can help you break free. It's time to break free from the cycle of abuse and dependence and start living the life you deserve. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any opinions or thoughts regarding this, please share them in the comment section below, and thank you for watching this video.